Let's look at a brilliant way to multiply. First, let's start with an easier question than this one that the new specification Maths GCSE has given us. Let's imagine 36 times 87. Now what you do is you draw a table, just like that, a timesing table, and you break down the numbers into their units, their tens, their hundreds, etc. So for example, 36 is 30 and a 6. We've got 87, which is an 80 and a 7. Then draw the lines across. Now here's the key bit. Focus only on the first digit, so the 8 and the 3 for this first box here. Don't look at the zeros for now. Let's just do 8 times 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. Now we count the zeros, treat it separately. So counting the zeros, we've got 2 extra zeros, so that's a 0, 0. Now 8 times 6 is 48 with 1 extra 0. 7 times 3 is 21 and 1 extra 0. 6 times 7 is 42. Now what you need to do is write them all out very, very neatly. So one mistake here can ruin all of our good timesing work. So I'm writing the numbers out very carefully to put the hundreds underneath the hundreds, the tens underneath the tens, and the units underneath the units. Okay, then we add it up and we get 2. 8 plus 4 plus 1 is 13, so we put a 3, carry the 1. 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 11. 2 plus 1 is 3. So the answer is 3,132, at least I hope it is. Now, how does this method help us with a question like this? Now, this is really important. What you need to do is you need to pretend that there's no decimal places. So ignore the dot, essentially. So this question, 0.17 times 6,000 becomes 17 times 6,000. That's if we ignore the decimal place. If we just ignore that little dot. What do we do then? Well, then we go back to our method. So 17 is, if we draw our multiplying box, 10 times, 10 and a 7. 6,000 is just 6,000. That is just a 1,000 digit. There is no hundreds digit or tens digit. Okay, let's do it. So what we're going to do is 6 times 1, which is 6, and then we count the zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 times 7 is 42 with 1, 2, 3 extra zeros. Okay, now we're going to add those up. 60,000 and 42,000 very neatly. If it's not neat, you probably get it wrong. The total is 102,000. Now that's not the final answer though, is it? Because we ignored the dot in the original question. We ignored the decimal place. So what do? Well, you count how many numbers are after the dot in these two numbers that we multiplied. Well, on the right hand side, the 6,000 didn't have any numbers after a dot. There wasn't even a dot at all. But the 0.17 had 2 numbers after the dot. So we need our final answer that we just worked out to have 2 numbers after the dot. Can you imagine where that's going to be? So it'd have to be here, because now there's 2 numbers after the dot. So the final real answer is 1020.0, or just 1020. I recommend practicing this method and checking your answer with a calculator, because it's one of the best ways